What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Sports Trigger. Travis, today we're talking about announcers and how they say the same damn things we do and get paid a whole bunch for it. Are you ready to get started?
Cue me up.
Welcome back to the Sports Trigger, everyone. Travis, we watch all the college football right now, NFL, we watch some MLB, we watch college basketball and NBA when it starts to come in. And you know what? The same thing that I keep coming across is I'll think something in my head, or you'll turn to the person right next to you on the couch and you'll say something about the game, and then the announcers will repeat the exact same damn thing about 5 seconds later.
Exactly.
How frustrating is this?
It's very frustrating, and I know we've had conversations before, and I'm sure plenty of other people have as well, to where, they're saying exactly what we're saying, and it's interesting just because no matter what sport you watch, you always come across this, regardless of whether you really know much about the sport or anything like that. It just always happens, especially in football. They make the most obvious comments.
Yeah.
That's something maybe you notice first, and they say something, or just really, it's one of the most noticeable things, and they just go ahead and go on a rant about it, and we're like, yes, we know, we're thinking that at home. You don't have to talk about this, so on and so forth. But, these are people that get paid for doing stuff like this. So it's definitely interesting the different contexts you'll get in different sports, because you'll get it in every sport, regardless of how knowledgeable you are.
Right, and I'm gonna stick my hand out here and say MLB announcers probably do the best job of saying just random stuff, because there's only about, 3 minutes and 20 seconds or something like that of total game action, and
right.
The games are aired for 3 hours, and they're filling it with stuff that's interesting. They'll come up with random stories, they'll talk about fans in the crowd, they'll come up with great stats or offhand comments or theories about players and other teams as well. That's impressive to me. That's
right.
Extremely impressive to me. But in action sport games like NFL, college football, college basketball, and they're saying the most obvious things like, 3rd and 7, they need to come up with a great pass play here, or
right.
They're down by 10, they have to score a touchdown here with less than 5 minutes in the game. College football, the defense is playing great and it's 0-0 or something like that. You think? And that stuff
right.
just drives me crazy. And so I guess I come to the point, everybody made fun of John Madden because he was the same way. They're like, he's got to score, or they scored a touchdown, that's 6 points, or and kicked extra, the most easygoing common sense things to say where people are like, you think. But our announcers, even though they're getting paid for it, are they good announcers because they are saying what everybody thinks? That's the thing that I'm starting to think is, maybe these guys are good at what they do because they're saying what everybody else thinks, and then we're all like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because, at first, obviously, it's annoying, but then when you think about it, sometimes people try to stick to scripts and, and stay away from maybe what's going on in their mind, but then really it's what's going on in their mind that we would find interesting, because obviously it's what we find ourselves thinking the most. So, and then that even causes more topic for conversation amongst ourselves, and obviously those people who may not have actually caught or thought about what they're mentioning in the first place. So I definitely think it could make them a good commentator. But then I don't know. I think it's borderline. So maybe it's just they don't know how to commentate. Maybe they don't follow or know enough about what they are covering. But at the same time, maybe they're not genius, but they're really smart for how they're portraying themselves and how they're commentating, to where everyone feels comfortable and they're like, oh yeah, this is just a normal guy or normal girl that's thinking the same thing I am, and it makes them comfortable and then get into the game more.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good point. There's a balance between anger and great commentating of like, oh yeah, I get what they're saying. Because obviously there's sometimes, there's things that they say and you're just like, what? Like, what the heck was he thinking? So give me your number one commentator or sports broadcaster that you like to listen to.
So the number one would have to be, oh wow, you really put me on the spot. You know, okay, so a lot of people aren't big on Dickie V, but I love him. I love him as a commentator. I don't like him as tweeting. I don't follow him on Facebook or anything, but I still love him. You know, he's been in the game for so long. Granted, you know, he didn't really have great success as a coach or anything, but he's a staple, right? It's what everybody knows him. Diaper dandy.
Off the cuff.
Yes, he has so many different things. He's brought something new to commentating. I think, I mean, obviously I wasn't listening because I wasn't born yet before him, but I can only imagine that it was more boring and plain. Maybe just stats were given. And he kind of is that type of commentator we're talking about, to where he says off the wall things and things that we may be thinking and talking to our friends amongst ourselves in the living room, watching the game, whatever. So I definitely, I like Dickie V commentating, but I just don't like all the, social media stuff just because he's such a huge Kentucky lover and,
Kentucky and Duke. That's who's playing it every year for him. But yeah, how many Saints has he come up with? And along with him, I think him and John Gruden are both, two of the announcers that have been on, Hooters commercials too, I think, if I remember right. So look at them making it big. I am going to go with Gus Johnson, because I think Gus Johnson, kind of along the same lines as Dickie V. If you go YouTube, Gus Johnson, like calling a game Saints, he comes up with the most random things for touchdown sayings. He'll make a 3-yard gain exciting. I just love it because it's not the normal stuff that you're going to hear all the time. He's got a great voice, so I'm going to go with Gus Johnson. But I don't know, man. It's like college football, college sports. As soon as you sit down, it's like frustration season, because you're watching all these sporting events and they're saying the same thing that you're saying, and you're like, wait, and these guys are getting all the money? So with that being said, guys, thanks a lot for joining us on another episode of the Sports Trigger, and until next time.